Hello students, we are continuing with the previous lecture about the infection to man. In that we have already seen there is no secondary host in the Ascaris, and the infection to man occurs when swallow the contaminated or polluted raw vegetables, food or water, whatever, and these egg pass down the small intestine in duodenum of the host. Now here egg capsule become weak due to the action of carbon dioxide as well as the pH of the host digestive enzymes. Then larva inside the eggshell gets activated, and larva secretes a hatching fluid inside the egg capsule containing enzyme like esterase and chitinase. I have already told you that why esterase and chitinase in the previous lecture. And these enzymes make the egg shell weak and it comes out of the egg. So the process called hatching takes place about 3 to 4 hours. Now this particular larvae have all the organs of adults except the reproductive organs. So development in the human host, after reaching to this particular definitive host, larvae do not remain within the intestine for the further development, but go on typical wandering tour of 10 days in host body. So what happens exactly? So newly hatched larvae bore through the intestinal wall and carry along the portal vessel to the liver, where they live for 3 to 4 days. So it will pour out of the intestine and goes towards the liver, where they are present for 3 to 4 days. Then from it enters to hepatic vein, and through the concaval vein comes to the right side of the heart. So from liver it goes towards the heart, and from there it is carried several times through along the body. Okay, they go to the small pulmonary arteries, into the lungs, spend a week. So 3 to 4 days in liver, then entry into the heart. From heart it is going towards the lungs, and in lungs they will remain 5 to 6 days, and when they are in lungs they grow much bigger and increase in length from 0.2 mm to 2 mm and molt the third instar. Okay, and the larva become now fourth instar. So molting of third to fourth takes place. Then what they do, they break through the capillary wall which is present in lung alveoli. Within the alveoli there are mesh network of the capillaries. So they break through that, and this migration takes up to the average of 10 to 15 days. So this larva from the alveoli, fourth stage larvae, and ready to re-enter into the intestine. So it just call through the bronchia and trachea and aided in the current caused by ciliated epithelium of the respiratory tract. We do have ciliated epithelia. You must have seen or read in the mammalian physiology, histology also, that within our alveoli, within our bronchia, you have the ciliated epithelium in respiratory tract. So they propelled into the larynx and pharynx, and once again swallowed by the same host. Now when they are passing through the stomach, they are now protected against the gastric juices of the intestine, and the larva shows anaerobic metabolism. So as you can see, first of all, larva escapes through the intestine pour through the intestine into the liver. From liver it gets transferred into the heart. Okay, from heart it gets transferred everywhere in the body, and mainly it stops towards the lungs. Okay, and it breaks out of the pulmonary capillary in the lung alveoli. Okay, from the lung alveoli, when it comes out, it migrates towards the bronchi, as I have told you that ciliated epithelia is present, and from here it enters into the stomach, swallowed, and from the stomach, now it is an adult worm, so it is passed through the intestine, okay, back into the intestine to develop into adult worm. Here further development takes place, and the fourth instar larvae further developed into the adult worm. This is what it and it whole thing takes place at least 8 to 10 days or 10 to 15 days. Now, most of the organs during this system is well developed. Genital primordium become cognated and differentiated into male and female gonad. What kind of development takes place during this process? So there is a change in the male and female gonads. Worm feeds on the semi-digested food, grows to the length about 25 mm and undergoes fourth last molt between 25th to 29th day, and adult worm is formed. Okay, now adult Ascaris is small, it shows sexual dimorphism, as I have told you that male and female are differentiated or separate, and in 60 to 70 days they grow into the adult male and female and attain sexual maturity. Now parasite feeds on the food and rapidly grows in size. So now they are in nourishing environment, so they will start eating much of the food, and grow in size. Mating and copulation also takes place as they are sexually matures, and then female discharge the eggs, so to repeat the cycle again. So this is what happens. Now when the migration takes place, whether something happens to the humans or not, or if this Ascaris is present within your body, then what happens, that we will come to know through the pathogenicity. Now in pathogenicity, what happens? Presence of few worms in the intestine are not very dangerous, but presence of large number of worms, if present, then they can actually block the intestine, and movement of the food does not take place properly. This may cause harm to the human and they may damage the intestine also. As I have told you, they pour through the intestine, even their number is increasing, sometimes they pour through the intestine, so this should not happen. Now pathological effect of parasites categorized into two types: effects produced by migrating larvae and effects due to adult worm. So effect due to migrating larvae. Now here, heavy infection of migrating larvae in the lungs cause typical symptoms of pneumonia such as fever, cough and dyspnea. Also this is called as Ascaris pneumonia or Loeffler's syndrome. So this you should remember what is exactly the Ascaris pneumonia and Loeffler's syndrome. Now blood tinged sputum often may contain Ascaris larvae, swollen face, urticarial rash seen in such cases. Lungs are severely affected. Naturally, if the larvae is getting migrated within the lungs and the alveoli and it is rupturing the capillaries, naturally the lungs will be severely affected. Larvae break the lung capillaries. Some trauma and localized hemorrhages may occur because of that, because if capillaries burst open, the blood will come out. So localized hemorrhages may be is observed when such a thing enters, and damage to pulmonary tissue occurs. Respiratory function of lung is affected, and in this children are much more susceptible and such conditions prove fatal for them. A heavy infection in the liver result in necrotic damage. naturally there will be lot of debris, there will be lot of cell which lot of cells which which may cause this kind of necrosis. Okay, it may also cause the hepatitis or inflammation, so or inflammation of liver. Okay, also the larvae may carry microorganisms from intestine to the other tissue. This is also one of the problem, that larva which is present in the intestine, it may, if it doesn't have the bacteria, it will just remember one thing, that larva passes beyond the pulmonary capillary, okay, and from the intestine it is passing through this whole area, so they may contain some of the bacteria also from the intestine and going towards the kidney, spleen, brain also, and this can be a problematic. Okay, but if the larva passes beyond the pulmonary capillary and each of the general circulation, they are filtered out in various organs like kidney, spleen, brain, spinal cord, heart and eyeball. Now this causes symptoms like muscular pain, headache and inflammation of retina. And due to the infection of the bacteria, some other problem may also arise. And effect, this is all about the effect due to the worm which is not adult. What adult worms does, what kind of problems they create. So adult worms are located in intestine, hence symptoms mostly related with the gastrointestinal tract. So the adult worms feed on chyme of the intestine and is not getting nutritive material, protein, vitamins, which actually parasite gets in high amount. Okay, so there is a possibility of one more thing, that is a common hyperinfected children result in protein results of the excessive food taken by the Ascaris. So Ascaris infection may cause vitamin A deficiency, resulting into the night blindness in children, because they are absorbing and everything. So adult form neutralize. How they are get protected? So what they do, again in the previous topic, Intra-amoeba histolytica, I have already told you that the sometimes what happens, when they are present in stomach or in intestine, they produces the anti-enzymes which neutralizes the enzymes which may digest it. So here also the similar thing takes place. And then anti-tryptic, anti-peptic enzyme Ascaris show the important role here. So severe nutrition drain children result stunted growth. So many children who are infected by this particular parasite, they may show the stunted growth because parasite is responsible for lack of vitamin B12 or any other vitamins, okay, which is actually required for the development of that particular organism or host. There can be a toxic action also. Now Ascaris body fluid, when absorbed toxic, may form responsible for the typhoid like fever. Okay, also they may cause the allergic manifestation or edema or conjunctivitis, irritation or anything else. Now various products, sometimes worms block lumen, causing intestinal gangrene or death. The worm may enter duct, even liver cause of the worm may enter duct when liver causing obstructive hepatitis, the jaundice. So sometimes when worms enter body cavity causing fatal peritonitis. So they may pass pleural cavity. So patients show nervous symptoms, general nervousness, photophobia, convulsions, meningitis, insomnia and paralytic below waist. Now, paralysis, this is rare, but this may happen below the waist, remember. Now, mechanical effect. In mechanical effect, presence of Ascaris occurs intussuctions. It may penetrate through the ulcers. Remember, in alimentary canal, if a person is suffering from ulcers and what happens? The large number of Ascaris forming bolus may not produce intestinal obstruction, as I have told you. Okay. Now, how to do the laboratory diagnosis of this particular part? Now, in laboratory diagnosis, Ascaris is not ignorable disease. Diagnosis of disease can be done by direct or indirect evidences. So, what are these evidences? The adult worm may pass out spontaneously into the stool, may be vomited or escape through the nose. Remember, vomited or escape through the nose. How this happens? When the larvae is entering from the lungs into the stomach, at that time, if vomiting has occurred, then this particular larvae will go out, or otherwise there is a possibly through the stool also. The presence of Ascaris, so in that part you can detect it in the vomit, or you can detect it into the stool. The presence of Ascaris in intestine demonstrated by radiography, that is X-ray with barium emulsion, which being ingested by the worm within 4 to 6 hours gives a opaque shadow. So X-ray can also give you the diagnosis. Presence of eggs in the stool may be detected. So whatever egg in the stool detected, it also tells you about this particular infection. Then presence of egg in stool under direct microscope examination or saline emulsion of soil, stool microscopic examination for bile obtained by duodenal intubation may also reveal the Ascaris eggs. And at the same time, eosinophila is present only in the early stage of invasion. So this in the intestinal phase suggests associated strongyloidiasis or toxocariasis. So this may lead to the dermal reaction, or crash test is used to diagnosis. Okay, so laboratory diagnosis can be carried out most of the time carried out by the presence and absence by microscopic examination. Remember, without microscopic examination you cannot actually see this. What is the treatment? There is no effective medicine for larvae and worms located in different organs. Okay, so if the high infestation is there and this larvae is present in other parts of the organs, then surgically that can be removed. So but other than that, there are many ascarial drugs available for treatment of Ascaris. The old remedy was use of the Cynopodium or santonin oil. Okay, then there are now there are many tolerable medicines present. Then hexyl resorcinol, safe one, remove 95% of worms. Piperazine salt, a drug of choice, cheap and safe. Then there are many which can be used. Okay, now how to prevent or control? Prophylaxis. Okay, following prophylactic measures should be adopted. As you can see, keeping good sanitary condition means every time whenever you take the vegetables, it should be washed properly, thoroughly. You should not consume anything which is taken directly from the soil. You should wash it properly or clean it properly. This is the first thing that you can have to reduce the infection. Then pollution of soil with human feces, as I have told you, that is the night soil, should be avoided generally. It should not be used for manure purpose. uh, then avoid use of polluted water for drinking purpose. Disposable of human fecal matter is essential, and use of compost manure in field instead of night soil. So in compost, human excreta is used, but it is expected that this human excreta should not be used as a manure directly. Okay, but as you can see, he has been depleted by the night soil. So the use of compost manure in fields instead of night soil, remember. So night soil, as I have already told you, it's a human fecal matter, which is sometimes used as a fertilizer. This should not happen. So people will have the infection if they use the night soil, so they will be defeated by the night soil. The infected individual should be given treatment for Ascaris. Remember, treatment is important. Without treatment, nothing happens. Education regarding the importance of personal and public hygiene and sanitary laws should be given. Now nowadays we have seen that because of the closed open defecation, means previously in villages, there are few villages are left which actually goes for the open defecation. In Maharashtra there are many very less number of villages are there now, because of new policies. Most of the people can construct their own toilet, so people should not go outside, and this will reduce, first of all, or prevent any kind of infection that may occur due to the Ascaris. Second thing, whatever vegetables, washing is important. So if you keep the proper hygiene, then we can control this particular disease. So this was all about the Ascaris lumbricoids. So this is the last lecture of Ascaris lumbricoids. From the next lecture onwards, we will start with the another type, which will be the last type of organism. So next time we will start with the Taenia solium.